Alright, now we're back here, and right here I have some Plus 3, which is used for coating. You can also use topping, and if you really like and you're short on material, you can use all-purpose. Now right here we've got some rough edges, so I'm taking my sanding block and I'm just going to sand the edges really lightly. Actually, when I do it, the fiberglass shows up a little bit, and that's alright. We're going to coat right here. So just taking the sand block and some light sanding. Alright, now next I have is an 8-inch knife, and with this 8-inch knife we're going to use it for coating. You can see the butt joints, they rock a little bit, so the idea is to get them to where they're level. And so what we'll do is we'll end up putting a little bit of mud on this side of the joint and on this side to build it out to get it closer to level. And so what I do is I take a little bit of mud right here, and I'll just apply it with my finger down here. You can see how I'm holding it, and I'm just going to press slightly, and then I'm going to take some more mud and do the same thing, a little bit lower, all the way up. So it's kind of a thick edge right there, and I'm going to do the same over here. And I'm just pressing with my thumb and my finger, and I'm pressing down, trying to put a nice level coat over it. Now I'll actually go in the middle, and now there's a beginning step. Now what we want to do is we want to just take our knife, lay it flat, and lightly press on it, wiping off the excess mud. You want to go over it a couple times, and we'll see this edge. I'll keep wiping it down. There we go. I'm not really pressing very hard, and I want my knife level, and then kind of just pull it up. Here, when we talked about bend your knife to get the edge, so I'm going to bend my knife and then just pull it up. Not really pressing hard at all. Pressing hard on the corner and then just pulling it up. And I'll wipe that edge there. I'll do the top where I press on it, wipe it down. And this is our second coat. We're going to have one more final coat. So you can see I'm just keep going over it. I don't want it thick. It's going to dry, and we're going to put some more coats over it. If this next coat won't do it, we'll put another coat over it. But right there, it's starting to look really good. And the hardest part when you're new is basically running over some already mud that you've already done and made a really good job. So in that case, what you're going to do is you're going to have these edges, and you're going to try your best to get rid of them. And if you can't, that's alright. We'll just sand them out when we're done. So, and then I press on the corner, and pressing down here, and then wiping off the edge like that. That's the trick. And you can see when I do that, I don't lay my knife that flat. I kind of bring it out a little bit just to get the edge and pull the other knife away from the wall. So we got the top part there. Now I'm going to do the bottom. Now I used the corner trowel last time. What I'm going to do this time is just use one side of the corner and just wipe one side of the corner. And that'll give it a nice square corner. I won't use a corner trowel again. And then next time, in my last coat, I'll wipe the other side. So I can see this is a butt joint. It's kind of rocking. It's offset quite a bit. So what I need to do is I need to build. The whole idea is to get it level. So what I need to do is build it out lower down here by adding some more mud. And it will be a little bit thicker when it's closer to the joint. And that's alright. But you want your edges to be wiped down so they don't build out. Those are the ones that are going to be noticeable, is the edges when you go to paint. So if you want to build it out, and then make sure you wipe your, if it's thick, it's alright. You just want to make sure your edges are wiped down. I have some nasty stuff right here, and it's a bit tricky. And I'm just applying the mud, wiping it back and forth. And this is kind of an ugly butt joint, and that's good. So taking my mud and just keep on working at it. And that right there, I'm going to wipe this bottom edge down here. I'm not going to be able to get it perfect, this coat, and that's alright. I'm going to try to get as much of these edges as I can wiped off. So when we come back next time, I'll be able to sand lightly. And there's quite a bit of edges here. And I'm going to leave these edges. I can take my knife and scrape them down when it dries. And then after I scrape it, I can sand it lightly to get rid of the edge. And then I can apply my next coat. With this 8-inch knife, I have the next coat, I'll probably use a 10. And so if you have to use a 6-inch again or a 5-inch again, that's alright. I happen to have the tool. So when I'm doing the corner, it's probably easier when you're wiping one side of the corner to use a smaller knife, like a 6-inch or a 5-inch, a 4-inch, or even a 3. So I'm going to do that. Taking it, and I'm just applying the mud, flattening out the knife, flattening out the mud. Definitely going to take a little bit of sanding when it dries. That's alright. But what I don't want is I don't want thick edges. You don't want thick edges. You want to wipe your edges down, sand the middle. These lines are fine, but you don't want your edges built out. I'm lightly pressing on it. I'm not pressing very hard at all. I'm just pulling it. Level of your knife, the better off you'll have a good clean job. You'll be able to work with the mud a lot easier. I'm using this finger to press really lightly and then just pulling it with a steady hand. Once I do that, I will put the pressure. This might be hard. Put pressure on this, pull down to get that edge. And there we go. Obviously I've been doing this a long time. Even doing a long time, this still isn't quite an easy patch. What's going to happen though is we'll be able to sand these little rough edges when you're out and apply another coat. And if you need to, apply a skim coat for the final one. But that's the second coat, and we'll move on to the next.